Welcome back to the channel. So this episode, we're going to be going over all our beehives that we have. I'm sure you don't know, I made a short yesterday of one of our beehives that's doing pretty good. So I decided to go ahead and make a video and show you all the hives that we have going. But first, I want to give you guys a couple updates. So as you know, this is our John Deere 60 that we have, and it did have the chrome stack one there, but my brother didn't like how loud it was. It was ear piercing. When it got under load, the ears were ringing, so went ahead and ordered up a muffler for it. Yeah. It didn't really make it that much quieter, but we'll go ahead here and fire her up and see what she sounds like. I actually didn't really hear it run, other than he was out driving it around, but I didn't actually start it yet. He asked me if I started it, but I didn't. So we'll go ahead and start it on video here. The real question is, does it have a battery in it? Oh, we'll find that out when we get started here. We're in neutral. Ow, that hurt. That's fine. Alright. She's in neutral. No choke. Go ahead and see if she starts. That easy, and it's already running. Actually runs better. Barely idling. That's a full idle. It runs a lot better. The stock isn't really what changed that. He put new gaskets on intake and carburetor gaskets. Like intake manifold, he put new gasket on. These are the old ones. Might use these on 620 when we go to start it, just to see if it's gonna run. That carburetor will probably need rebuilt, but turn the gas off. But yeah, runs a lot better. It is a little bit quieter, but not ear piercing. But I didn't hear it under load yet, so we'll see what she sounds like under load. And then we are going to be doing something with the 1086 here. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to be doing with that, but that's going to change this tractor. I'll give you a hint. It's under the hood. You'll have to wait until we get all the parts for that. But she'll get it out here and get it cleaned up. This cab is starting to get rough. It was repainted, and I don't think it was prepped the way it should have been, and now it's just starting to rot to pieces. So we got a couple things other things that we gotta do. We actually gotta tear the tractor in half to fix an oil leak. So when we do that, the cab will probably be getting repaired. But we'll move over to the 620. So we got the cam here, and we were looking at it. If you didn't see the short that I posted, it's got a slight issue. So if you look at it, that cam lobe's not as pointy as, say, that one or that one, but that one is more pointy than that one. If it focuses, there we go. Still didn't focus. There we go. You can see that that's actually flat on the highest point of the cam lobe. So that is not ideal. So we have one up on eBay, a used cam, that we'll probably end up getting. We're trying to call around to find out what it's going to cost to get this cam re-ground. Maybe get like a pooling set up, like get it ground for like pooling specs. If we ever decided to hook it up to a sled, low chance of that happening, but you know, there's always a possibility. So we got to get a cam for that, or try to fix this one. This is Kubota head. Found all the parts for it, we just didn't order them yet. Trying to get the cam done, or the tractor done, before we dig into any more projects. But we are still gonna fix that head and get that Kubota running. Here's the 620 governor that we were working on for the, of course, 620 over there. Soaked everything in Evapo-Rust. That stuff works pretty good. If you don't have any of that and you need something that needs cleaned up, it's all rusty, you get some of that. All you do is clean it, get as much grease off of it as possible, and then you just sit that in there from between 1 to 12 hours. Get it out and it'll clean up just like this. But you can see how that's all pitted, and well, them teeth there are pretty good, but let's see, those teeth right there are pretty bad. And the hydraulic pump gear is bad, but the governor itself cleaned up pretty decent. We probably will spray some primer in here. We'll clean it up, degrease it, put some primer in there, just to keep that from rusting. You can see it used to have some. That's not rust. That's used to be John Deere yellow paint primer. So we'll probably end up spraying some primer in there. I'll keep that from rusting. So that's what's going on with the cam, is we got to get a gear for, I think that's the idler gear, runs off the cam. The reason we got to get a gear for this and this is this runs off the cam, and if we don't clean this up, this could chew away at the cam. And if we just get this gear and not this gear, this one will be fine. But if we have this engaged with this tooth right, this gear right here, this one will start chewing away at this one, which will then travel down to the cam gear and chew that one up. Then we'll have to tear it all down to what we have it torn down now. So we're just gonna get these two gears. If we can find, we might have to get a whole hydraulic pump. We are having troubles finding a gear for that. We found one of these, but having troubles finding a gear for that. So that's that. So trying to find them 2 gears. That's what's holding us up on the 620. Now the fan drive gear. See that? It's got rust on there. May just see if I can get that pulled off of there. But that might pull off there actually. But let's see here. I'm gonna probably bring a wire brush over here. See if we can get that cleaned up. If we can get that cleaned up and it's not pitted, we'll go with that gear. But if it's pitted, then we're gonna have to try to get that gear. Seems like every time I look at it, I find something else that needs fixed. But it is not a new tractor. You're gonna keep finding things that are worn. You're not gonna get away from that. It's not a new tractor. Parts are gonna be worn. So that's what's holding us up with the 620. Is we gotta get them gears. We're trying to get them. Having troubles finding the parts for it that we need. But we're getting there. I did this off camera. I didn't think you guys wanted to watch me clean this up. Like all I did was I took it over, degreased it, pressure washed it, got all the grease off of it. I had this gear out. It's pretty simple to get out. I just take this cover off, pull it out basically. And like I said, I just dropped it in the evapor rust and that cleaned them gears up pretty good. So we're trying to get them gears. That's the update right now with what we have going on here in the shop. We're trying. We got a lot of projects going on. Got something else that I didn't film yet. 3 hours away from here. My dad, my brother, they went out a couple weekends ago. Got it running. But I didn't do well at storing that because my dad was actually leaving from work and going straight down to there and trying to get it running after work. He got it running, but he didn't get it running great. Left from here another weekend, went out, got it running, and now we're just trying to get the wrecker done so we can go out and get it. We're not sure when we have to get it home. We're hoping that it won't be in our way. We're trying to get the wrecker done, but what we're going to try to do is get the stuff done with the wrecker body, get done what we can get done with it off, and then we'll just, like the outside compartments and all that stuff we can do when it's on the truck. But the whole reason we pulled it off the truck was so we could get the front of the body done here. So my dad sanded it all down here, fixed. Rust holes over here. I probably can't quite, no, I can't see where they were at all. It might have been down here. I don't know where they were. But anyhow, there were some rust holes on there. He got them all cleaned up and sanded it, primed it. So now we just gotta paint the top here. We gotta pull this out, pressure wash the bottom of it, and probably put undercoating on there. That'll keep that from rusting. But like I said, we're just trying to get done what we need to do while it's off, done. So if they call and say, hey, we need this truck out of here, we can sit the truck on, or we can sit the body on, go out and get it, bring it back, and just do the outside stuff. Like the outside, the top, the compartments, all that stuff we can do when it's on the truck. But the underside, the front, we can't do because we can't get behind the cab. It's like that much of a gap and it's pretty tight. So this is the boom. It was all pitted. It was awful looking. I mean, you can still kind of see a little bit, but he took cleaned it up, sandblasted it, and put real thin Bondo in there to smooth that out, just so it's not as ugly looking. Looking for we're trying to find decals for it. Not sure if we're gonna be able to. They actually go, I believe they go on the inside boom. But he cleaned all this stuff up and painted it. I believe this is charcoal gray, metallic. But it's coming along. We put all undercoating on the frame, axle, all that. We just got done with doing the bottom of the cab, made a battery box, sandblasted all this stuff, sanded it. Actually, no, we didn't sand it, we just painted it. But got all that done. Batteries are hooked up. I took the tint off of this window. We probably would have left it, but my dad couldn't stand it because the tint, it was from here up to like here. It stopped here and then this here was just clear. Couldn't stand it. So I went ahead and we just took that off. We left the AC windows tinted, but can't tell if the back one's tinted. I believe it is, but I can't tell. But we took the tank down, sandblasted it. There was a big spot. Used to be a tag here. We have that in the truck, but we took Bondo here. That was all pitted. That was getting pretty bad. So we went ahead, put Bondo on that, got that cleaned up, smoothed up. But it's not new. You can tell. It's not the prettiest thing ever, but for a tow truck, it's good enough. And he was gonna paint them silver too, just like he did with the tank. But I thought they'd look pretty good, black over the silver. So we went ahead and did that. Looks pretty good. This is the inside of the cab. We had the seats out, mat out. This was all bad, getting rusty. So we sandblasted all this, got us all sanded up, cleaned up. The floor had some rust holes over there, cut that out, welded new spots in there. So that's good. We had the air conditioner, the blower fan. That's the fan itself, but this is the motor. It was pretty bad. It kept tripping the breaker. So we made the decision to take it out and see if its wire is grounded or something. But we took it apart and sure enough, the motor itself is shot. That's how it's supposed to be, right there. And that's what it did. It got so hot that it just melted everything. So we ordered up a new one of them. We're waiting for that to get here, just like we're waiting for the paint to get here. And then we'll get the bed as much done as we can. But if they don't call, we're just gonna go ahead and get that done, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we've been busy here. We also had the parking brake lever out. The floor, there's actually floor panels all through here. The whole center, basically a transmission tunnel. That all comes out. We took that all out, sanded that, got that all undercoated. The whole cab floor is undercoated. So that's all rust proofed. So that'll be pretty good. So it's looking pretty good. And the dash panel, it was actually, none of the gauges were working. So he went ahead, pulled the gauge cluster out, and there was, I think he said there was seven wires, grounds that were, the solder was broken. So he resoldered all them, got them all fixed, and now the gauges work. And now everything pretty much in the cab's working other than the fan. And this does have the 6+1 transmission, the 6 road gears, and the 1 low haul, heavy haul gear. Is low gear for if you have to pull like up a steep hill or something, or you know, just pull something really heavy. You just put it in low and it'll just creep out of there. It's like a creeping gear, basically. And we've been working on the bumper. This is actually a Holmes bumper. You can see. It did not have any spots to hook a chain. So what the previous owners did is instead of making spots to hook a chain or hooking to the axle or something, they hooked a chain here and a chain down here. And I don't know if they were back trying to pull something with the truck or pulling the truck out if it got stuck or something, but they kinked the whole bumper. The bumper was actually like that kind of shape. Like it was bowed out and bent and wrinkled up. It was a high wrinkle there, so we customized it. We had old 6x6 over there. We stood that up against the bottom of the beam. Down here, we laid this on them 2 blocks right there. And used the jack. The jack's sitting right there. Sat that here and just basically pushed the dent out of it. And it got pretty good. We just finished this up last night. We welded the hooks in here. We used 4x4 tubing and welded plates on the end. Welded the hook on there. That should work pretty good. You can see it goes all along there. So that should work. And of course they made holes here. We were debating if we wanted to put holes in here, but if we would have put it down below the bumper, it would have been too low. If we have to pull up to a curb or something, the hooks would have hit. So we went ahead and just put them here. We hated putting a hole in the bumper. We made it a little too low, but we had to make it enough so we could get in. We went a little overkill with the hole on both sides, but this is another spot. We'll probably take the bumper up and get it sandblasted so we'll get all this out of here. And put Bondo body filler in these pits, get that all smoothed up. And that'll be looking pretty good. So, you know, also took the rims off, wheels off, sandblasted all them, painted them silver, just like we did with the tank. And it's hard to tell here, otherwise I'd show you when the truck was out. But that's looking pretty good. So, yeah, we've been having a lot of projects going on here. I haven't been filming them because they're my dad's projects, and you know, I just didn't film them. So I'll give you updates as we move on with doing a bed. I'll run it past him and see if he'd be okay with me filming the paint process, but I'm not sure. But this is gonna take a lot. I actually had like I don't know what you call it, like a C channel. You can see that C channel that ran along here down to the side, but they didn't do it good enough. It was getting pretty bad, so we just took them off, and now we just got holes like that to try to cut out and patch. He's not sure, but I think he made the decision to just leave it flat instead of putting the sides back on, just because, so don't do this again. Gets moisture in there, traps in there, and just rots away. So, yeah, a lot of work. We went ahead and put undercoating on that. I believe that was undercoating. He made a hitch and put on here with the safety chain loops. So that should work pretty good. But that's that. That's what we got going on in the shop. You may be wondering why the 706 is in here. That's just in here because, well, we had a tornado come through here. I think the beginning of last week, might have been 2 weeks ago, something like that. So we had to park that in here because we had to move the one roll back over where that was getting parked. So we just didn't move it back around again. Thankfully, the tornado did eventually miss us. Actually went on the other side of the mountain, thankfully. It was pretty big. The clouds were actually swirling right above us here. But thankfully it went on the other side. I don't think anyone was injured. It just knocked quite a few trees down. It is a wicked tornado. We usually don't get tornadoes through here. Show you guys all the beehives that we have going here. One of our hives is right there. You can see the bees are flying around. Not many flying around now, but they're there. I'll go up above and show you. Alright, we're in the top of the barn here. This is our woodworking shop. It's a mess. All that stuff was leaning up against the wall until it all decided it didn't want to do that anymore, and it all just collapsed. That's fine. But I'm not going to go back there because, you know, it ended pretty bad yesterday when we came back here. So I am not going to go back there because I'll zoom in. It's hard to tell, but right there, there's bees on this side under the hive. So I'm not going to go back there. I did yesterday and had like at least 6 bees on me. And I did not have a bee suit on. And yeah. I don't know how I didn't get stung. They were on my pants, on my shirt. They were trying to get me through my shirt, but thankfully they didn't. They were not happy. I don't know why they weren't happy. They just weren't happy. But we go up. We have a hive up on the other side of the barn. There's a running shed up there. We have a hive up there, and we have one out in the garden. So we'll go show you them. Alright, we're up above the barn here. In the running shed. This hive actually came from my paps. There was a swarm that moved in one of his trees, and he had us come over and get them. So they're doing pretty good. They're happy. Quite a few bees in that hive. But now we'll run out to that running shed out there. Up. I don't know what he was doing there. Alright, here are the other 2 hives that we have. Actually, got these from our neighbors. We actually have a hive up there. We're trying to get them out of their house. I'm going to move back because they're not too happy. I don't think. I don't need to get stung. But there's a big hive in their house behind the siding. And we're trying to get them out of there. We caulked all their openings that they had getting in the house. We closed all of them up but one, and we set a hive there to try to catch them as they come out of the hive. So we had that up there for probably about 2 months now. They still didn't catch them yet. Trying to get them to go in and out of the hive and just start building in the hive, but they're being stubborn. But these are 2 hives that we got from up there. And these are doing pretty good. I'll throw a picture up on the screen how they were moving the other night if you didn't see the short video. Give you a garden update. It is doing really good. Ever since we started getting the rain, everything finally took off. Got weeds here we gotta take care of, but the potatoes, these are all the potatoes, and they are doing really good. Wood chips I put in between, they're doing pretty good at keeping the weeds down. And there's weeds coming up every now and then, like just right there. But you know, and in between, like right against the rows beside the wood chips. But it's a lot better. They're usually in between the rows, it's usually full of weeds. And sunflowers that I moved, had them in starter pods, but I finally moved them out here. They're doing pretty good. This is our watermelons. You can see they're going way down the bank. I think these might be cantaloupe. They're doing pretty good. They're going in the wrong direction, so that's fine. These are the pumpkins that we have. See, these are all pumpkins along here. They are out of control, which is good. You can see potatoes are finally blooming. You can see the corn is not doing the greatest. We're not sure why it is doing what it's doing, but it is. Because it's that row actually started out first. That was the first ones to grow right there. And that's the smallest corn. All the other ones, all these, there, this row, they were all last to get started. And for some reason, the corn that got started first is the smallest corn in the garden. All the other corn is doing pretty good. But our fruit trees are doing pretty good. Till the birds get them. Birds and worms get them. Should have netting over them or something, but these trees, that's hard to do. But a lot of peaches in that tree. Here it is. Whole purpose of making this video right here. So yesterday I was out doing the barn work and saw a bunch of bees flying around here, and they were in one of the branches right there, all clumped up. So when my dad got home, he worked at getting them into that hive. I'll do a time lapse as we were doing that. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. We'll see you next time.